I have 5 amazing no-bake desserts that are perfect for diabetics, and of course, they are super delicious. Join me now.
I just love that I can use my good old food processor Bessie in this recipe. You do not need to go buy a fancy ice cream maker. Do not spend that money. Save that money. Looking, this food processor has been with me for a long time. It travels with me to Drug Emporium when we do our low carb cooking classes, which I cannot wait to fire back up again. Let me know in the comments if you're as excited as I am. And we're throwing in there the frozen berry medley from the Walmart. Y'all know I'm bougie on a bayou. Y'all know I don't like to spend a lot of money on my food, and that is my goal. I want to keep it bougie on the bayou for y'all, but the food tastes good. Now, a ton of y'all are going to ask in the comments, and here's the answer. Yes, you could do blueberries. Yes, you could do just raspberries. Yes, you could use items from the farmer's market. This frozen berry medley, half a cup, 35 calories, 9 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fiber, coming in at 6 net carbs. The sweetener we're going to add to this is my fabulous Swerve. You all know that I love this product. 1/4 of a cup, all you need. And again, some of y'all are going to ask about monk fruit. Please price compare. Y'all know I get my Swerve over at the fabulous Drug Emporium. We're going to add 1/4 cup of our heavy whipping cream. Again, you see that great value brand. The question was posed to me in our blueberry ice cream video, which I'll link below because it's delicious and it's fat burning. So you want to see what that secret ingredient is about using different milk alternatives like almond milk and coconut milk. If you've been watching my channel, y'all know I'm not the biggest fan of coconut milk, more for taste purposes, but go ahead and try it and let me know in the comments if you did try it, because I want to share with others, hey, this is a great alternative. I am open to suggestions, y'all. I love when y'all leave comments. In fact, I want you to comment if you're going to try this or you have another cool ice cream, combination that we could do. Go ahead and pulse, and you can see that it is a little difficult. So you're going to grab your spatula, and hey, before I keep talking, make sure to give this video a like, and if you haven't subscribed, shame on you, subscribe. But you might have to add a little bit water, which I did. I added about 1/4 cup of water, got it pulsed. It's beautiful. Y'all, my kids tore into this. I barely had any bites of it. This will be a huge winner chicken dinner. And if you want another ice cream, just go ahead and click, because I got that blueberry ice cream following. It's fat burning, has a super secret ingredient. And if you were too busy laughing, didn't get the recipe, scroll down below. You'll also get yourself a menu. And for more low carb and laughter, be sure to subscribe. Much love, gang.
Looking for a simple dessert that won't affect your blood sugar levels? You just need 3 ingredients for this amazing, delicious, diabetic dessert. 3 ingredients is all you need. Grab that Cool Whip. Remember to look at the label to make sure you keep that sugar as low as possible. You can also use True Whip. I have sugar-free Jell-O, strawberry flavored, and a cup of strawberries. Get you a bowl, spatula, knife, and cutting board. We're going to take that cup of strawberries and we're going to start, I don't want to use the word cube, but maybe slice them into smaller pieces. You can absolutely use any other berry. That's raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. Please do. A cup of strawberries is about 46 calories, 11 grams of carbs, but don't panic, y'all. 3 grams of fiber, giving this 8 net carbs per cup. And I recommend to my clients and patients in clinic to have a half a cup. And if you don't know, I'm Shelly. Hey, I'm a dietitian, Dietitian Shelly. I work in the day as a dietitian running a private practice, working with folks to lower their blood sugars, weight loss, hormone balance. At night, I make really fun and simple recipes to share with you all, and this is one of them. It's super easy and it's super delicious. Go ahead and put those sliced strawberries in your bowl, and we're going to go ahead and add that Jell-O. You could see that I am using great value, which is from the Walmart. Y'all know I love shopping at Walmart, Aldi, Kroger. I love to shop at discount stores. I love to use coupons, and you even see on my little apron something that says Skinny Louisiana. What is that? Well, it's 2 cookbooks I author. They're super fun. I am from Louisiana. Love to use Louisiana products in cooking. If that's you, you want to check out those cookbooks. And hey, if you're looking to lower your blood sugars, you might want to subscribe to this channel. If you notice, I'm using about half the package of that Jell-O. It's about 1 to 2 tablespoons. You can use the whole package. Me personally, I am not an overtly sweet person. I don't need these crazy sugar-rich desserts. But if you are a sweet person, I'm actually a little bit more of a salty person, go ahead and use the whole package. We're gonna stir so we can coat the strawberries with that gelatin, and we're gonna go ahead and add that whipped topping. Some of you all may be wondering, why am I not using sugar-free? Well, guess what? A lot of times it's the same amount of sugar as in the sugar-free compared to the regular. So it's very, very important to look at those labels. Now, I'm a 4-H girl as well. If you are, let me know in the comments. You see what I'm doing there? I put half the Cool Whip, give it a little stir, and then I put the other half of the Cool Whip. It's just a little trick that I learned from a long time ago. I've never let it go. Go ahead and share any kind of fun tip that you have. Maybe that you learned in 4-H, or maybe that you learned dealing with Cool Whip, Jello, or strawberries. This is it. You just stir it. It's fluffy. It's cool. It's perfect for the summer, or heck, perfect for any time. It's a great after dinner dessert that will not spike your blood sugar levels. If you forgot the ingredients already, go ahead and scroll in the description box. And hey, while you're down there, get my 7-day menu. That will help to lower your blood sugars. And the side effect, give you a little weight loss. I'm Dietitian Shelly, y'all. Be sure to like and subscribe. Love y'all bunches.
Now, if you haven't guessed by now, we are making a lemon frozen yogurt. The ingredients, insanely easy. 100% lemon juice. Now, you see that Great Value brand. Shout out to Walmart. But hey, you can hit up Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Dollar something, Ollie's, Kroger. I shop cheap, y'all. I got kids. I cannot be dropping money at the expensive grocery stores. I have 2 containers of your 2 Good lemon yogurt. 3 grams of carbs in a container. Praise the Lord. Now, I have heavy whipping cream, and this was a little difficult because I want to save calories, but here's why I used it.
Heavy whipping cream is insanely popular on keto, and I have a lot of recipes. I do have heavy whipping cream, and then I have some recipes that I have Fairlife, and then there's always our friend half and half. And really, it boils down to this: what am I cooking, and am I looking to reduce calories as well? I love heavy whip, but it's pretty high calorie. And this is where folks are going to come and say, the calorie thing has been debunked, blah, blah, blah. I've personally realized when I eat a little too much, we're going to have a problem. And heavy whipping cream can do that to us. So Fairlife milk, there's Fairlife, there's unsweet almond milk, which I find is really difficult to cook with, is one of the lowest carb milks on the market. Now, Kroger has a Carb Master brand, 6 grams of carbs. They take the lactose out of it. They add protein to it. We love protein. It keeps us full. Heavy whipping cream is the lowest. 1 gram, 1 cup has 3 grams of carbs. And then half and half, 2 tablespoons of half and half is 1 carb. So I'll always base it on what are my goals and what am I cooking. Shakes, smoothies, you can combine Fairlife and heavy whipping cream. A lot of soups, you can combine Fairlife and heavy whipping cream. Coffee, you could do half and half or a splash of heavy whip. It really all depends on you and your goals.
And then our swerve. Grab your measuring cup and spoons, blender. Mine ain't fancy, and a jar. Y'all see my fabulous blender. It's a Black & Decker. Look, this baby has lasted me a very long time. I think I had this before Mireille was born. She is approaching, she's 12. I would say, almost approaching 13, but not really. She's 12 and a half. It's old. It works. I ain't replacing it until it dies. Grab your yogurt. Go ahead and use that spatula, scoop it on in there. Now, I get a lot of questions about yogurt in my clinic. And hey, if you're new here, my name is Dietitian Shelly. I work with clients during the day, many of them with diabetes, prediabetes, PCOS, premenopause, postmenopause. And if you're looking for a menu, if you're stuck, I have in the description box a 7-day menu that won't spike your blood sugars, but more importantly, will help peel off any pounds that you might have put on in the past couple of years. But back to the yogurt, I get a lot of questions on yogurt, and I say look at the label. Buy the one with the lowest. Too Good is very low in carbs, but if you have a Kroger in your area, they do have a Carb Master yogurt. Sorry about that. I believe Walmart's Great Value has a lemon flavor as well. So just double check. Of course, you can use those. I'm adding to this a half a cup of our heavy whipping cream. Now, again, I do like to watch out for calories. I don't like to over-calorie it. I felt like that was a big problem with my keto folks. They would get plateaued, and it's like, oh my gosh, you're eating too much, but you're eating low carb, and I get it, but those calories will get you. We have a tablespoon of our lemon juice. Again, make sure it's 100% lemon juice. And I'm gonna add to this a 1/4 cup of our swerve. Now you can add more. I really personally don't like things to be oversweet because that's when people complain. The beauty of this, since we're just blending this, is that you can add more. So always start little and always kind of build it up. And then we're gonna
blend this. Now keep in mind, we have to blend this for about 5 minutes. Now the next question is, I don't have a blender, can I use my hand mixer? Sure, but I would whip my heavy whipping cream first and then add everything to it. I did beat this for close to 5 minutes, which is pretty normal. And once it's done, once you're done whipping it, go ahead and put it in the freezer for about 30 minutes to an hour. And you see it has that gorgeous kind of hard crystallized effect. I cannot stand those low carb ice creams that you have to let defrost for like 15 minutes. It drives me nuts. This one won't do that. I love to store these in jars. Some folks like to use the ice tray and freeze it and kind of put it in their cup for later. I want you to check out this recipe in the description section. And remember, you can download your menu free to your email address. And hey, if you love low carb and diabetic friendly recipes, I want you to just subscribe to this channel. Much love, gang. Bye-bye.
I have the perfect no-bake diabetic dessert that is ready in just minutes. Join me now. You can't have a recipe without ingredients, and these are all found at your local Walmart, Kroger, and Aldi. The first is a container of whipped topping. Be sure to look at that label. We'll chat about this in a second because there's a ton of other options you can use. Our plain PB2 powder, that is the lowest in sugar. And we have a couple different syrups you can add. I want you to pick your favorite. I have Splenda, I have the Chalk Zero, which is made with monk fruit, and the Jordan Skinny Mixes, which are getting a huge amount of traction on your TikToks and on your YouTubes. Pick one. We'll talk about the one that I picked in just a minute. Grab a bowl, a tablespoon, various spatulas or a spoon, an optional muffin pan. Now go ahead and take that container of whipped topping and just dump it in your bowl. Now earlier I said we're going to talk about this. I'm using great value. I love deals. I love things that are super cheap. My biggest thing I tell everybody is compare your labels. Now I always teach my clients and patients, we keep that sugar under 5. Of course, go for the lowest one. This is where you can compare brand names. This is where you can compare the light to the fat-free to the zero sugar to see which one has the least amount of sugar. Now for folks looking for a clean option, there is the True Whip. I encourage you to use what you love. Go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of that PB2 powder. Remember earlier I said, hey, we're going to grab the plain one because the plain one, again, is the lowest amount in sugar. Now, of course, you can add 1 to 2 more tablespoons if you want a really intense peanut butter flavor. For me, I like kind of a kiss of the peanut butter flavor. I'm not like overly peanut butter. I'm not that person who can open up a jar and just eat a spoon of peanut butter. But if you are, I would highly suggest adding 2 more tablespoons of that PB2 powder. Now, this is where we have fun with our syrups. You see I'm choosing the Jordan Skinny syrup. I mean, this is really cool. There's a store here in town called Drug Emporium, and I'm sure you all have some type of variety of that store in your own hometown. These used to be on sale. I don't know if y'all remember the store Tuesday Morning. I wish that place would have never closed down. Let me know in the comments if you know what Tuesday Morning is. It was one of my favorite places to go to and just get stuff, but good stuff. Like I got my bed sheets there. I got all kind of cool stuff there. And if you're like, who are you? I'm like, hey, my name is Shelly. I'm Dietitian Shelly. During the day, I work as a dietitian. I have my own private practice. I see folks for weight loss, blood sugar control, hormone balance. And at night, I try to really develop some fun, cool recipes that are super easy. I'm also a mom of 2. So these recipes really work. They're super simple. And you can see I did the skinny syrup, a tablespoon of it. Don't go overboard with these because it will add a super sweet flavor. We're going to mix this all together. Now, it's going to take a couple seconds for everything to dissolve and kind of blend in. And normally I'd have said, hey, after this is mixed, you could top it with the Lily's chocolate chips. You could put it in the refrigerator or freezer for a couple of hours, take it out and serve it. But a fun trick, and I've seen this a lot on the TikToks and the YouTubes, is that folks will grab a muffin pan and they'll scoop even amounts. That way it's portioned out. You can grab it. It's a little bit neater. You could put it in your little cup. You could maybe, throw some nuts on top of it. It kind of makes your own sundae, i.e. banana split, because again, it's getting close to summertime. And if it's not summertime right now, hey, if it's not cold where you're at, I'm always thinking of hot because it's hot where I'm from. I'm from Louisiana. And you could serve this right before the event, or hey, even at nighttime after supper when you're like, I want something a little bit simple. So gang, that's it. A super delicious recipe. It's a peanut butter fluff. I have the ingredients and directions in the description box, so scroll down. I'm Dietitian Shelly. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a like. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Gang, take care.
Grab a jar,
your blender, and y'all see my blender is old. Don't laugh. Don't make fun, baby. I'm one of those people. If it still works, I'm going to use it. And when, well, it dies, I'm probably going to head over to the Ollie's that are the big lots to buy me a brand new one. So laugh away, baby, because I use all my stuff. And the two ingredients are raspberries and heavy whipping cream. There is no sugar in sight.
Now, I've talked about raspberries before in this channel as a fruit that has a low glycemic index, but I really want to dive in the reasons I do want you to bring this fruit into your diet. One of the first things that raspberries can do is help to lower our insulin. And my goal, I always tell folks when working with them, they're like, how much weight should I lose? What goal should you set me on? My goal is that we lower those insulin levels so that in turn, we can keep our blood sugar stable. So let me quote this study. So this study was done in 2019 at the Clinical Nutrition Research Center at the Illinois Institute of Technology. That's a lot of words, but I wanted to get it right for you. And it showed that people who consume, check this out, frozen red raspberries. You may not live in a climate where you can get fresh raspberries all the time. So you can look for those frozen red raspberries. It showed lower blood sugar levels and lower insulin. And then there was a little bit more that they showed. And we don't talk about triglycerides in here a lot, but for those who had a full 2 cups of frozen berries, they found lower triglycerides after a high carb, moderate fat meal. So what does this mean? We don't want to have our red raspberries by themselves. We want to add it to our meal. And surprisingly, I usually encourage folks to add raspberries to their night meal. Many of my clients participate in intermittent fasting, and that would be the most logical place to put it. Now, would I do 2 cups? That's a little bit of a stretch for me personally because, folks follow low carb guidelines in my clinic. But think about and start with a half a cup of those red raspberries to add at night. Let's keep talking. The next reason is it lowers blood sugar levels. Now again, I got to do a little looky at my computer to make sure I recite the study right to you. So check this one out. So this was a study published in the Journal of Obesity, and it involved 32 participants between the ages of 20 and 60 years old. So a good variety of ages. I'm going to get a lot of complaints that, well, Shelly, there should have been a lot more people. Sometimes it's hard to get a lot of folks in these studies, and then you risk correlation like, well, if I did this, I'm going to do this. They were given high carb breakfast. Now, so for folks who intermittent fast, we would obviously not worry about this. With moderate amounts of fat, with either 1 or 2 cups of our frozen red raspberries. And on 3 occasions, they had a control group receiving no raspberries. So let me break it down for you. None or 0, 1 cup or 2. So they noted those who took the raspberry-rich breakfasts had lower blood sugar levels than those who did not eat the raspberries. That's pretty interesting. I like that. So again, if you're not intermittent fasting, if you prefer not to add your raspberries at nighttime, this study did show that the breakfast did work. Let's continue. Now, one of the bonuses that we talk about a lot is inflammation. And I did a video a while back about foods and arthritis, and I do have a lot of folks in my clinic. I work in a physical therapy clinic who do have arthritis. So we try to overlap it a lot of times with the inflammation, with prediabetes, and let me read the real results for you. It's kind of a known thing that raspberries, this is just a basic, they have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that can help lower, heart disease, even, our arthritis, our pain. So think about that whenever you're picking that raspberry. And then we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I really honed this down a lot in my clinic. It's a low glycemic index fruit. So let me kind of read here. So just for folks to know, the glycemic index looks how fast blood sugar enters the bloodstream after we eat a food. So how does it react? So you see a lot of these reaction videos on YouTube where folks will be like, blood testing bread, and And that's exactly what they're doing. But because raspberries have a lower glycemic scale, it's not going to give you those huge shoots, like, for example, watermelon, which is one of the highest glycemic fruits. That's why I get a lot of flack from my colleagues, like, just recommend all fruits. And it's like, no, we really need to push these fruits that are lower on the glycemic scale to help take care of our bodies. And I'm a really huge advocate about that. Some folks get really mad at me. I had somebody comment that I shouldn't even be a dietitian because all foods can fit. And I really disagree with that. I would say, hey, if you're going to eat fruit, grab that raspberry. That's how we do this. We want to give you the best bang for your health because we're not going to be here for a long time. I mean, eat the best you can, right? Just to break it down, raspberries have a glycemic score of 32. And I believe watermelon's like in the 81, maybe 87. I'll comment below what the actual glycemic index of that watermelon is. Just remember, a full cup of raspberries is 7 grams of fiber. So if you're doing net carbs, that's only going to be about 8 net carbs. Now, in my clinic, I start folks out on 35 net carbs per day. So it's an easy fit in for us. So think about it. And then this is an interesting one. The raspberries can actually break down starch. So how can it do that? Well, it has something in there called tannins. And I want to read the exact properties to you right here. Red raspberries have a high tannin content, which are compounds that play a role, now we're going to talk some big words, in blocking alpha amylase, an enzyme that breaks down starch. By doing so, tannin-rich raspberries may lower the number of carbs and calories consumed. So it's kind of like a little stop sign there. So there's so many benefits of the red raspberries. What would I do? Well, I do on and off participate in intermittent fasting. Right now I'm on a 16/8 scale with it. I don't go too wild and crazy. I just keep it simple. So I would include mine at night. And I don't do a full cup. I have to be honest. I do about a half of a cup. And I do frozen. Right now, you may not be watching this video and it's summertime. I'm filming it. It's in the winter. It's cold. It's dreary outside. You can kind of see that already. I would just, go to the store, buy the frozen, look at the label, make sure they don't add anything to it. Store brand is fine, gang. You all know in here, I'm bougie on a bayou. I don't shop at the fancy stores. I'm your Walmart girl. I'm your Drug Emporium girl. I'm your Kroger girl. So think about including this fruit. It can really help to reverse prediabetes. It has some great properties. This is one I would say, hey, count it into your macros. Don't leave it out. Awesome things. And if you need ever something, gang, just comment below. My email's down there. Would love to have you as a client.
Get the lid off of that blender and put those raspberries in there. You can tell that I washed and froze these. I want to have them frozen because that's what's going to give you that awesome sorbet ice creamy feel. Now, I'm only adding 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream to this. That is it, because I want the goodness of those raspberries. You heard earlier how we talked about it was those 2 cups of raspberries that they did that study on. I'm not adding any stuff to it. Now, of course, I'm going to get asked, can I use a sugar replacer? I have clients who ask me all the time about this. And I always say, you want to use, number one, what works for you at a very small amount. Now, where are my manners? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shelly, aka Dietitian Shelly, and I post videos here covering topics about diabetes, prediabetes, insulin resistance, and of course, I share recipes related to lowering your blood sugar. So if that's you and you're ready to lower those blood sugars and lose weight while eating some delicious foods, click on that subscribe button. Now remember, we are blending this. And a lot of folks are saying, oh my gosh, that looks really icy. Well, that's the point, because this is making an ice cream. Be very careful about adding water to this, because what will happen is it will start to melt and then we'll get a smoothie. Not that that's a bad thing, but baby, I want this to be a sorbet. I want this to be ice cream. I'm going to keep mixing this. The longer you mix it, the more it's going to get soft, the more it's going to get smooth. If you have any leftover of this, which I highly doubt you will, because it is delicious, go ahead and scoop it in a jar. You're gonna want to bring this into your life. Let's lower those blood sugars. And hey, scroll into the description box, because here's your little treat. I have a 7-day menu, which I promise will lower your blood sugar levels. It'll help you to lose weight. And gang, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I promise you'll love it.